You send a message and check your phone 5 minutes later, even though you already know no reply could have arrived that fast. A tiny moment like this seems personal, but it reflects a pattern that has shaped human relationships for thousands of years. Why can one person occupy your thoughts long after they've disappeared from your life? You forget most conversations. You forget most faces. You forget most ordinary days. Yet every so often, someone settles into your mind and refuses to leave. Years can pass. Cities can change. Entire chapters of your life can begin and end. And somehow, a single person still appears in your thoughts while you're driving, walking, working, or lying awake at night. It feels mysterious. Sometimes it feels irrational. But your brain isn't doing this by accident. In fact, some of the strongest mental traces in your life are not created by the people who loved you the most, treated you the best, or spent the most time with you. They're often created by people who left something unfinished. Your brain evolved to solve problems. Not just physical problems. Psychological ones too. A completed story can be filed away. An incomplete story keeps demanding attention. Psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik noticed something strange in the 1920s. While observing restaurant workers, she found they remembered unpaid orders remarkably well. The moment a bill was settled, the details quickly faded. Unfinished tasks stayed active in memory. Completed tasks disappeared. Today, this idea is known as the Zeigarnik effect. Your brain keeps unfinished experiences partially open, like tabs in a browser that never close. Now apply that to people. What happens when a relationship ends without answers? What happens when someone leaves without explanation? What happens when feelings are never expressed? The story remains unfinished. And your mind keeps returning to it. Not because the person is necessarily perfect. Not because they were your soulmate. Because your brain hates loose ends. Researchers studying memory have repeatedly found that emotionally charged experiences are remembered more strongly than neutral events. The amygdala, a small structure deep inside your brain, works closely with memory systems to mark important experiences for future recall. The stronger the emotion, the stronger the signal. This was demonstrated through decades of research by scientists such as James McGaugh, whose work helped explain why emotional events become so durable in memory. Your brain isn't recording reality like a camera. It's creating a priority list. And emotional experiences rise to the top. This explains something surprising. The people who stay in your mind aren't necessarily connected to your happiest moments. They are often connected to your most emotionally intense moments. A first love. A painful rejection. A friendship that suddenly ended. A person who appeared at exactly the right moment and vanished at exactly the wrong one. Intensity creates memory. Then uncertainty strengthens it. Now another force enters the story. Your brain is a prediction machine. Neuroscientist Carl Friston's influential work suggests that the brain is constantly trying to reduce uncertainty by building models of the world. It wants explanations, patterns, predictions. When somebody behaves unpredictably, your brain starts working overtime. Think about the difference between two doors. One door is locked forever. The other opens randomly. Which one captures more attention? Usually the second. Not because it's better. Because it's uncertain. Psychologists see a similar effect in relationships. Intermittent reinforcement, receiving attention, affection, or validation unpredictably, can create exceptionally strong attachment. The uncertainty itself becomes psychologically powerful. Your brain keeps searching for patterns. Maybe they'll call. Maybe they'll return. Maybe next time will be different. And every possibility keeps the mental loop alive. This is partly why some brief relationships leave deeper marks than long stable ones. The relationship wasn't necessarily stronger. The uncertainty was. Here is where things become even stranger. Sometimes you don't miss the person. You miss the version of yourself that existed around them. Certain people become attached to important periods in your life. A university chapter. A first job. A time when everything felt possible. A season when you felt understood. Years later, the memory returns. But what you're actually revisiting may not be the individual at all. It may be an older version of yourself. Psychologist Endel Tulving described how memory allows you to mentally travel through time. When you think about someone important, your brain often reconstructs an entire world around them. The music. The places. The emotions. The hopes you had. The person becomes the doorway. The real destination is the past. This creates an illusion. You assume the person is unforgettable. In reality, they are connected to a version of your life that feels unreachable. And the mind naturally revisits what feels lost. Ancient humans experienced something similar. For most of history, survival depended on social bonds. Being excluded from a tribe could be deadly. A damaged relationship wasn't merely emotional. It was a survival problem. Your brain inherited systems built for this environment. When a social connection breaks unexpectedly, ancient alarm systems can activate. Research by Naomi Eisenberger found remarkable overlaps between physical pain and social pain within the brain. Rejection can literally feel painful because some of the same neural systems become involved. This isn't weakness. It's biology. Your ancestors who paid attention to social threats were often more likely to survive. The modern world has changed rapidly. Your brain has not. That creates a mismatch. Today, a person can disappear physically while remaining digitally present. You can see their photos. Read old messages. Watch fragments of their life unfold from afar. Thousands of years ago, separation created distance. Today, separation often creates endless reminders. The brain struggles with this. Every reminder acts like a small signal. A notification without a notification. A memory without a memory. The story keeps reopening. And something even more powerful happens. Your brain starts editing. Memory reconstruction research led by Elizabeth Loftus demonstrated that memories are not replayed like recordings. They are rebuilt every time you remember them. Each reconstruction can subtly change the story. Over time, flaws fade. Details soften. Positive moments become brighter. Negative moments become less clear. The person inside your memory slowly becomes different from the person who actually existed. You stop remembering reality. You start remembering a story about reality. That story can become surprisingly difficult to release. Because stories are powerful. Humans understand life through narrative. You instinctively search for meaning. You want causes, lessons, conclusions. If someone played an important role in your story, your brain wants to know why. Without an answer, it keeps searching. Again and again. This is why closure often feels so valuable. Closure is not magic. It doesn't erase memories. It simply gives your brain a stopping point. A conclusion. A frame around the experience. Without that frame, the story keeps expanding. The mind continues looking for missing pieces. So what does this mean for your life today? It means that persistent thoughts about someone do not automatically prove they are meant for you. That's an important distinction. Many people assume recurring thoughts are evidence of destiny. Often they are evidence of psychology. An unfinished chapter. An emotional imprint. A period of uncertainty. A powerful memory linked to identity. Sometimes the person who never leaves your mind is not your future. They are your lesson. Sometimes they represent a question rather than an answer. Sometimes they remain in your thoughts because your brain is still extracting meaning from the experience. And there is something comforting about that. Because it means you are not broken. Your mind is doing what minds evolved to do. Searching. Connecting. Remembering. Trying to transform experience into understanding. Eventually, many of these mental loops fade. Not because you force them away. Not because you find perfect answers. But because your life grows larger than the question. New experiences arrive. New relationships form. New stories begin. And gradually, the unfinished chapter becomes one chapter among many. The memory remains. The emotional charge weakens. The mystery loses its grip. The person who once occupied every corner of your mind becomes a smaller figure in a much bigger story. And one day, you may realize something unexpected. The reason they never left your mind was never really about them. It was about what your brain was trying to understand through them. You send a message and check your phone 5 minutes later. Only now, you understand that some people stay in your mind not because they belong in your future, but because they helped shape the story of who you became. If you got this far, thank you for being here with me. Don't forget to like and to subscribe for more videos and share this with your friends. See you in the next one.